Hello, another exciting week in La Liga and one that's taken Barcelona closer to the title, but one that has given us more clue of why Barcelona has reached the end of the season so tired. But let's have a look at the top five this weekend. Starting, of course, with Barcelona. Quite clearly, this is a Barcelona that is tired. They are not sharp. And a lot of the possession that they had against Valencia was conservative possession. In fact, you look at the highlights of the game and you realize that it was Valencia that had the most chances. And actually, they played better as a team than Barcelona. They exploited the weaknesses of Barcelona, the spacing behind the defense. There was a lot of pace in the counterattacks. It's just that they did not finish. They haven't got the quality, of course, of a Luis Suarez or of a Messi. Rodrigo had a clear chance on the penalty spot. But Ter Stegen held up, stood up, and waited to put the hand and saved it. But it wasn't the only save. Ter Stegen was needed in other occasions, and it has been this season. We said it many times. So what's going on with Barcelona? Well, it's a team that's tired. That's the thing to say. It's a tired team. The reason being, of course, at the beginning of the season, with a crisis, massive crisis, Neymar goes and Valverde comes in and he wants to succeed or at least win from the beginning. He put all the players, the regulars, the big names in the team for the first few weeks. And then as soon as they realized that Real Madrid were dropping points, they continued with giving the responsibility to the big names. Out of those, of course, Messi said, right, I'm going to take the team on my shoulders. I'm going to take it as far as we can, of course, but it's a time for me to appear, for me to be a midfielder, for me to be a forward, for me to be a number 10. And he did that. He did that to a point where now, yes, he is tired. Even though he scored against Leganés, and he, of course, made a huge impact before that against Sevilla in the last half an hour. We're not seeing the sharp as Messi. He wanted the ball, but he was surrounded by players. And quite clearly, Barcelona was far too deep to help him. They did not play as a unit. Even though Busquets was there, Paulinho didn't add a lot. Offensively, especially, and the team just were waiting for that moment of individual quality. It came on a set piece, and when Valencia managed to get a 2-1, it was far too late for them. But Barcelona is a team that's tired, and it's tired because Valverde, who didn't make, I think it was only changes against Roma came after the second leg, this was. In the last 10 minutes of the game suggests that he doesn't trust what he has on the bench. Why is that? Because the team is not very strong. The squad is not very strong. I insist, the worst squad in the last 10 years. So that's Barcelona, but they are going to win the league and they deserve all credit because that's the competition that shows who has been the best in the season. The Champions League, I agree with Pep Guardiola, shows that who has been the best in the Champions League, which is a very prestigious competition, of course, and one that gives big contracts, commercial-wise, and big wages, and makes team players to win individual trophies. But the competition that shows who has been the best that year is La Liga, and Barcelona are 7 points away from winning it. It'd be less if they beat Celta in midweek. Yet again, Iniesta did not finish a game, but that has always been the plan with Iniesta and Valverde. He's had 5 muscle injuries this season, so we haven't seen the best of Iniesta all the time. And I think he's realized that he cannot be at the top all the time. So I do believe he's going to accept the offer from China. He's going to go there for a couple of seasons at least. And it's also partly down to the fact that the market, the Chinese market, is going to be hosting about 2 million of bottles of the wine that he produces. His company, his bodega, are giving jobs to about 100 people in Fuente Alvilla, which is the village where he was born and where his family still live in. And that for him has been as important almost as his own future. So basically, Iniesta's going to say yes, and every time he talks, he gives a little clue of what the direction is of his future. And the last one was after the game against Valencia. He basically said he's made his mind up, and his mind up means that he will go away for a while, then will come back because remember his contract. It's forever. It's an eternal contract that Barcelona have given him. So he'll come back and establish himself a role at the club which will have to still be determined. I don't think he'll be a coach. I believe Xavi will, and Xavi Hernandez, by the way, is starting his coaching badges, pro license I think it is, in Madrid this week. So little by little is coming close to that idea of Xavi taking over Barcelona at some point, maybe before Messi leaves Barcelona to go to Newell's for the last years of his career, if that's what he decides to do. So can you imagine the prospect of Xavi on the bench and Messi being his main star? 3 has to be Valencia. Valencia were absolutely superb against Barcelona. As a team, they played wonderfully. They knew what the weaknesses of Barcelona were, what the strengths of Valencia are, the pace mostly. Guedes and Rodrigo, that connection worked. Condovia and Parejo, especially when Paulinho stopped man-marking Parejo as the game progressed. Parejo had more space, and it was wonderful to see. They were patient. Even when they went 2-0 up, they were still patient. It wasn't all about long balls. It was a great performance from Valencia. The worry is, of course, they need to sell for 45 million euros. And they have to do that this summer. So they have to sell one of the stars. And it could well be Rodrigo that goes to Atletico Madrid. Now, they want to keep Condovia, and they will pay his buyout clause, so he will stay. But Guedes won't be so easy to keep. Valencia have offered PSG 35 to 40 million euros to keep him, but to be paid in 6 years. And PSG are not answering yet because they have all their offers. So we will see which is the team that remains. But you have to say that Mateo Alemany and Marcelino have taken the right decisions this summer, more right than wrong, hardly no wrong decisions in the market, which suggests that you have to trust them and have faith in them to keep Valencia to be competing at this level. It's wonderful to see Valencia back at the top 4. Another story comes from Madrid. Isco was wonderful, one of those players that played against Juventus, one of the few ones that was left in the lineup, and at a week in which the likes of Cristiano rested. When Cristiano is not there, others need to take responsibility. When Modric is not there, it's exactly the same, and Isco did the job of both of them. Controlled the game, wanted the ball all the time, scored and assisted for the second goal as well. So what you had was Isco in one of his great performances. He says all the time to Zidane, and said it publicly as well when he was with the national side, I want to play more. And Zidane has defended himself by saying he has played a lot actually. He has played plenty. But Isco wants more. Meanwhile, it's good not to see a very tired Isco at the end of the season because he will be crucial for Spain. I saw on the stat that last week that 8 of the players of Barcelona, back on the theme of Barcelona being tired, 8 of the players have played more than the one who's played more time for Real Madrid. So Real Madrid has been rotating the shop right at the end, and Barcelona have done really well in the league, but it was partly down to the fact that they use the best players for the first 2/3 of the season, and now they are not at their best. What do you do? You give up on the league and hope the best for the Champions League. I think Valverde and Barcelona took the right decision, but they have to improve their squad. Real Madrid, though, have got a very good squad. They have to demand more of them and of the plan B, if you like, at the beginning of the season. Another thing is that Isco actually got involved in a post-up with a journalist, in fact, with the media in general, because he put a tweet in which he put an audio clip of a radio show presented by Juanma Castaño, in which basically Juanma sounded like he was saying that Real Madrid qualified to the semi-finals this year because of referees, and sounded like he was praising Barcelona for their PSG victory, forgetting that there were also controversial referee decisions there. It was a clip that was designed and made and cut by Real Madrid TV, official TV of the club, of course, and it was part of a campaign from Real Madrid to actually kill the prestige of some journalists. It's their way of defending themselves against the accusations that, you know, they buy referees and kind of rubbish that some people talk about. But by generally, they've gone to war with Juanma Castaño, who's one of the most prestigious journalists in Spain. One that actually, if you listen to more of those two shows, after the 6-1 of Barcelona PSG and after the semi-final against Juventus, you would see that what Isco picked was very selective, and it was not at all what he had been doing during the show. So it's a little bit of a strange war that Real Madrid have got involved in, trying to create fake news out there for fans to go against media. The worst thing that can happen to a democracy, even to a sport, is to actually have a media that counts for nothing. There's still enough good media out there, Juanma Castaño being the representative of that debates things properly, that allows others to have different opinions, and there is, even on the back of it, investigative reporting. All those things are being affected if the likes of Real Madrid go and try to attack directly the group of journalists that do their job properly. And the last one has to be Torres, who scored his 100th La Liga goal with Atletico Madrid on the week where he said that he was leaving. Why did he say that in a commercial event? Well, it was the timing of it. He felt that he was going to be heard. It had been planned beforehand, and the people that organized the commercial event had no idea that he was going to say exactly that he's leaving Atletico Madrid at the end of the season. But anyway, he felt it was the right time. A little bit earlier would have been too much emotion being put in too many games from fans who wanted to perhaps say goodbye to him. Too late, it would have perhaps clashed with the possibility of Atletico Madrid winning titles, so it would have been destructive. He's preferred to just say it now. The relationship with Simeone has been tense. I feel that Simeone did not give Torres enough chances, and I think Torres feels exactly the same. So it was one relationship that was going to become strained, and I think Torres has decided, instead of provoking the division of fans, that some of them think Simeone is a legend, some of the biggest legend, some of them think that he's Torres. Torres has said, okay, well, I'm leaving. And quite clearly Atletico Madrid will have to look for another striker, but time for him to move on. He's got offers from China and the MLS, so let's see where he goes, but certainly he wants to try one of those possibilities. He has been absolutely brilliant, somebody who for Atletico Madrid has been crucial as well. At a time where they were in the second division and looking for references, he was the big reference, and of course we all remember him from his time at Liverpool, this year and a half, 2 years where he was fantastic. The move to Chelsea, came back on the back of a injury and operation in his knee to be fit for the 2010 World Cup, but that affected his performances from then on, and perhaps we haven't seen the best Torres since. But in any case, we wish him good luck. And remember, subscribe if you like of this. There'll be new podcasts coming through. I've interviewed big names which you'll hear from, and other few surprises that will take place in the next few weeks. Subscribe and like it if you do like it, and of course make comments, and they're here, and I will just put them together and do a video soon commenting on what you comment. So talk to you soon. Bye bye.